Hopefully you can hear me over the noise of the freeway next to me there. What I'm going to do now, well, it's a noisy train. I'm going to cut back through Leederville and have a look at a couple of other cafes. Leederville has got a long kind of cafe strip, similar to, I guess, to Majors Bay Road, something like that. And it's been extensively traffic calmed over the last couple of years. So it is in fact quite a nice place to ride to and have something to eat. Now the downside of it is a lot of the places seem to be a little bit too upmarket for your casual kind of Saturday morning cyclist to drop in and have a coffee or whatever. And in fact, I came through there once before when all the cafes were shut and all that was open was this Italian place. And I thought, oh, that looks pretty interesting. Some people sitting in there having a meal. I'll just go in there and order myself some lunch because I was absolutely famished. I'd done a big ride and it was late. Turned out to be a quite expensive, very fancy upmarket Italian venue, kind of place where they have several different types of truffles on the menu, and you can easily pay $50 for a dish of pasta. I mean, it was some of the best pasta I've had in decades. It was just absolutely exquisite, but not a cafe, that's for sure. So I'm not going to stop because I don't need another coffee today, but I'm just going to go up and down the main street and have a look for bike parking and see if I can film any of it. It might be a bit tricky. And I'm going to showcase one place where I have stopped quite a few times for a coffee. I think it's called Crank, and it does have bike parking out the front, and it is very cyclist friendly, and you do get a lot of groups that come down the freeway here because, as I said, all the freeway noise there. I'm on the principal shared path here that runs parallel to the freeway, and the cars are whizzing by about, 15 metres to my right. 4 lanes of traffic in each direction, I think, at this point. But this path goes all the way up to Joondalup, I think, maybe further. I've never actually managed to ride to the end of it yet. The last time I did try riding up there was a round trip, I think, of 75 kilometres. It was quite a long day in the saddle, and the end of the path was still not in sight. So you do get quite a few commuters going up and down here, and people just training and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, they just pull into Leederville on the way back for a quick caffeine fix before they finish off. Well, as I was riding down the street there, I thought, geez, there's not much in the way of bike parking around here. And then I just noticed I was looking for the wrong thing. See, that's what the bike parking looks like around here. This is a double. Most of the ones down the street there were single. And once you know what to look out for, you see them outside of like every second or third shop. So the council here, the City of Vincent, has definitely put some effort into putting these things in all the way down the street, actually both sides of the street as well. So I'm going to ride back down the other side and see how many of these things I can spot.
Now, this is one of those instances when the human eye is much better than a camera, because as I went from here back to Crank, I managed to count 10 bike racks down the side of the on the footpath on the left-hand side, and I was talking to the camera as I went down the street, and well, 10's what I ended up with. But as you'll see from the footage here, I couldn't actually find 10 when I went back and reviewed it. And I think that's because some of them were on the other side of cars, and because I was up a lot higher than the camera, I could see over the cars and see the bike racks that were hiding on the other side. Now, you also just have to remember that there were an equivalent number of bike racks pretty much on the other side of the road. So the council, I think, has done a pretty reasonable job here of putting in quite a few racks. And, it's not quite a rack outside every single business establishment, but it's pretty close. And look, if there's not a bike rack, there's a pole you could probably, chain your bike to if you didn't want to leave it at a bike rack, a couple of doors away. So that's Leederville. And if you ask me, the bike parking there gets a pretty honourable mention compared to all the other councils around Perth. I don't know much about the rest of the suburb, whether all the other little cafe and shopping strips have got, parking up to that standard. I guess I'll just have to ride around and find out. But look, you can see from all these photos here that, most councils in Perth have put in bike parking at pretty much every destination you can think of going to. And if they don't, well, they've planted trees you can chain your bike up against. And I keep coming back to this point. If they can do it over here in Perth, why the heck can't councils in Sydney do this as well? This, it's not that difficult.